Так, всем добро пожаловать на канал. Всех приветствую. И сегодня мы продолжаем проходить Vampyr. И я тут немножко побегал. И да, что-то да нашел. Поэтому продолжаем. О, интересно.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Понял. Опа, почему две? А, в двух местах, понял. Опа. Неизвестный. Давайте поговорим.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed.
Еще один торговец.
I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Понял.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Странка.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Еще один жадный долинник. Тут больше ничего нету, подрывать
Goodbye for
не
now.
хочу. Кстати, еще одну тему тут понял. О. Я как понимаю, то что они вот так в группах по 3, по одному. О, это плюсик. А, восстановление. Вот. И они, короче, чем-то связаны. Насколько я понимаю. Типа как-то так. А так еще, кстати, новый чупик появился. А вот На самом деле бы сходить. А чё, как уровень гипноза повышать? Только сейчас заметил. Ну, ой, вот в первом луке что-то очень много, оказывается, упустил. Очень много. Ну, может, не упустил, может, дальше по сюжетному будет, но пока не знаю. Тут все тяжко. Тут что? Так, стабильно. Тут здоровое. Ну, я аж в этой больнице. Там работает профи. Так, мне нужно в этой области. Ага, понял. А, да. Ты кто?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
You are a criminal who endorses criminal activity. The least you could do is stop hiding behind this pretense.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Что же громил продавца? О, это нужно простойте.
Hello, young man.
О,
I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
а давай сразу.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Ну да, полезно. Дышать свежим воздухом.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, But you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
Ну, почему никто у меня не спрашивать?
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing, and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
А какое лекарство?
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Опа. Это на лекарство. Сбор. Укси.
Is their own pain and suffering.
Что тут еще есть? Часть крыша над головой. Ему не нравится. Не спрашивали его. Ну так это понятно. Ниш решает, где он будет жить.
It's locked, all right.
И ответить за него. Что ему не нравится, непонятно. Ну да ладно. Но лута в хате у них так неплохо. Профессиональный охотник на вампиров. Чего обращаться, понял. С отказом. Ага. Сказка. Подожди-ка секундочку. Это вот его сын. Почему-то вот этого. Ладно. Что-то уже подзабыл.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
О! Нужно просто уходить. А где этот? Какая-то подсказка.
You're late. Where's you again?
Да.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. And people won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak, and there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Christ, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
О, они похожи просто. Ты кто у нас?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry,
репортер.
I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Подожди, не расслышал. И назад вернуться нельзя. Немножко...
I
Ладно.
served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Ну, да.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him. but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell. Forgive my interruption.
Do not
Shame.
apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by...
But you are seeking a...
Well,
Ой,
would be...
что-то потупил.
What? Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Science and progress are our only hope against the monstrosity hidden behind this epidemic.
See, Doctor? Now you acknowledge the presence of evil within the city's walls. Now you start to admit the truth.
Tell me,
God,
science...
See,
О. Ой, да. А я чуть не знал, что такие варианты есть. Ладно.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
no. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
I have had enough for tonight. Goodbye.
А, мне сюда тоже не положено войти, да? Ладно, я понял. Кстати, да. Ой, у человека этого переутомления. Же есть, по-моему, что-то
Good
переутомление.
evening, Doctor.
Do you need a
That would be nice.
I will see you. Goodbye, Mr.
Просто тут убежище. Есть, а как меточку? О. Мне вот сюда и сюда. Еще секундочку, ребят. Так, нам сюда. От переутомления еще что-то надо. Скверный городок. Все геморрой по горло. Так, ну я не стрелял почти. Так, не надо сюда. Кажется, так. Ух, я все раздал. Надо разобрать, кстати, вот это все. Ой, боже. Секундочку. А вот это я обнуть не могу, да? Пока еще нет. Ну ладно. Ну вот это мне особо не надо. Без хила, в принципе, могу обойтись. Тут... раствора нет. Ну ладно. И... Город тоже, получается, болезнь охватила, так еще и твари всякие рыщут. Печально очень. Печальный городок.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need a...
That would be nice.
If you...
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr.
Я же... Опэй. Надо болтаться еще. Какой-то по итогу очень мало. А надо много. О. Бесплатный медосмотр. Хе. Свистнул. Не будет у тебя бесплатного медосмотра.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I know what you're thinking.
Понимаю.
A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Что-то не понимаю, она читает
Melia,
по-моему.
I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well.
Ладно. Че, я хотел бы сойти вот это, да. почтовый ящик. Какой почтовый? А? Это почтовый?
The content of Dara's letter to his
тек.
children could give me more leverage to
Правда.
enter.
Что его не заметил? Он бесплатный досмотр. Хватит купонами раскидываться. Что это за тайники? Так. Стоп, я могу? Интереснее об этом поговорить или нет?
Hello again.
Нет.
Very well.
Так, а мне куда? Не, зоне двор. Окей.
It's locked, all right.
Шикарно. Закрыто. Чё тут перепрыгнуть нельзя? И бегать приходится, заставляют. А, стоп, это что-то еще не нужно? Нет, все.
The walls of your home will not
Вот тут открыто. Детский будет. Не успел выстрелить, ладно. Пойдёшь. Я уворачивался. Ах ты, тварь. Я понял. Пошел ты. Портсигар. Сливаем, короче. Все, не хватает. О. Испанский гриб. Так, сюда нельзя. Чё у нас? Антипок. А, вот как раз его. Все, открыто. Ништяк. О! Еще одну подсказку с хаба. Иди сюда.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me.
Правда.
Especially with strangers.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Still, you don't seem to suffer from poverty.
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I would not be able to live on my own without their help.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercourt.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
Так, ну тут все, тут все, тут все.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Это было страшно. Ну ладно. Так, подожди, Дариус. Бронхит. Пять тысяч.
Hello again. Tell me about Richard Nethercourt. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well.
По умолчанию понимает. Не шарим, просто не шарим за это. Чё? Зачем? Пусть, ну ладно. Метку нужно убрать. Удалить.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
А как второй уровень гипноза получить? Секундочку. А его можно получить как-то? Так, это где-то вот тут и налево. Тут и налево вот. Стоп, вот сюда. Может, так достаточно тут вылечен. Тяжелый. Сейчас после ночи он, по идее, полегче должен быть. А вот тут по легким, типа, а тут по этим по сердцу. Понял. Еще почему-то будет. Еще, а как второй уровень гипноза апнуть? завеса. Как? Сколько состояние организма, запас дикой жажды. Все не то. Кстати, сколько это стоит? 600. Интересно проскочнуть. Потом появится типа. Тогда надо, кстати, еще прокачать. А так сколько похили? 200 хп? Да меньше. Вообще никуда меньше. А вот как гипноз уровень понять? Что-то... О, это разлочено? Ух ты. Кстати, вихрь. О, это же прикольно. Прикольно. Важно, но пока как контролировать, я не помню. Кстати, где-то 600 урона, 650. Только дистанция средняя будет. Вполне прикольно, кстати, как я. Если она имеет автотаргет. Извиняюсь. Вот как это поднять? Что-то изменилось? Оу. Оу. Переутомление, ёб твою мать. Ну, теперь тут стабильно хотя бы. Тут здоровые были. Переутомление, еще что-то. Сколько мне за него тут, кстати? 400. Все это пятерик дают. А как? Цена. Угу. Ну как что-то. О, еще один, кстати, район. Ну ладно, 4-й последний. Но я пока одного не могу понять. А как гипноз-то увеличить, собственно? Один. Еще один. Как поднять-то его? В прокачке вроде не было. Ой. Чё, какой-то умер.
This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood.
А, это не берешь использовать.
Mr. Babe.
Тут ничего нету, тут тоже ничего, да? подсвечу ним. А, все, 1,5 штуки дают.
Goodbye, Mr. Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again?
Ладно.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Старый пустил. Чё по луту? Шиллинга. Да. Богато. О, это нож. Ты чё? Да.
It's locked.
Скрыто. Табло. Деньги.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
А почему? Чё подсвечивается?
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Darius?
Yes, his manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Вот. Так, что там у нас с медсестрой-то? Что ж тут так все закрыто было? Вот открыть надо. Классно, что двери автоматически закрываются. Мне это очень нравится. Я люблю их каждый раз по 100 раз открывать. Это прикольно. Какая-то часть геймплея вообще-то. А мне лут припаслал тут. Детского. Это жесть сверху происходит. Чё взять, еще взять, чё взять? Ну, нормально, лута. Секундочку.
He's going into convulsions.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, Doctor. None at all.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an...
Так, секундочку. Секундочку.
aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. Yes. I have this, nurse. Allow me to finish the procedure alone. I need the room.
I'd prefer to stay and see this through. This is my patient, Doctor. I have needle and thread for stitching the wound.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor!
Я не знаю, что надо.
A dose of epinephrine now.
Я что, на медика похож? Зачем он за... Зачем ему? Ну да, адреналин, по идее. Возможно, нужен, наверное. Не знаю. Понятия не имею. Ошибка.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
Да. Может, ошибка, может, нельзя, может, было спустя. Я без
So what do I
понятия.
owe this courtesy? I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Блять.
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
Блять, может нам его просто пощадить. О, что? О! Умные граждане, которых можно убить.
It's locked.
Может, я неправильное решение сделал. Давай, просто пощадить. Чел же вроде лежал, у него мочканули. Суки. О, блять. Таргет говно полное.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in. Yes?
Goodbye, Mr.
Нет. Ну. А как она теперь помечается? Никак. Ладно, поговорим, думаю, заканчивать на сегодня. Тут что опять перегнул. Слишком долго. Ты чё? Чего это сюда? Так, а мне куда вообще? Не, вот сюда и просто все вправо, все понял.
human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Kill him, boy!
Не, надо сначала того. Тихо, мальчики. Всем достанется. Гандон. Ты, сука. Ты уёбок. А, тратится все время. О! Тухручка. Одну ручку. Ух, нихера себе. Чуть нас поширит. Че? Давление. Уродец. Что, с ней даже лута ничего никакого, да? Фе. Что-то они меня просто сюда манили или что? Да. Ладно. Получилось. Но убить нет. Это что, урод? Переспавнился, походу. Фух. Вот и наша родная больничка. Нам сюда. О! Челикс тут. Ну, улучшение. Да я понял. О, у него урона 160. С кайфом. Расход выносливости. Расход выносливости. Че, просто это еще сразу? Нет. Жаль. Ну ладно. Так, че? Я же, кстати, образец крови взял. Нет, разве?
met him in New York. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening,
Отлично, вопрос идет. Тут тоже ничего.
Do you require...
I will be fine.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick.
I'll try, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse.
Утомление. С тобой еще.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Вопрос у тебя. Пока
Do you need any...
I'm afraid
много чего не открыто.
Our job...
that's easy for you to say, Doctor.
Goodbye, Milton.
Кто еще болен? Еще в обмен, кстати, у него что-то посерьезнее, по-моему. О! То есть здоровый. Здоровый. Переутомление.
Good evening, Mr.
Evening, Doc.
Сказка какая-то.
Soldier,
Not really.
as long as you remain here, I will make sure...
Don't think you can do much about...
Goodbye for...
Кстати,
Hello?
Goodbye, Mr. Ham.
Кстати, да, тут новый чел должен был быть. Слушай, чё? Чё я вряд ли был? Новый Черикс где-то должен был быть. Переутомление.
I'm quite busy.
О,
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions, whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Do you need my...
Don't be ridiculous.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Хавай. Всех. Чё? Тебя тоже вылечу.
Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Так, у тебя, навряд ли что появилось, да? Да.
Is there any...
Really?
А, у меня все переутомление. Ладно.
Goodbye for now.
Сорян, братишка. Переутомление, переутомление. Ну тут чел где-то вроде, но появиться должен был. Этот. О, вот этот челикс. У него еще и головная боль. Еще один.
Good evening.
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Okay.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Ну, мать. Что сказать?
I have to...
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Do you require...
Do you...
I will...
Goodbye, пытаюсь. Времени не так много уже ушло. Час 23 минуты. Многовато для серии. Ну да ладно. В принципе-то я особо никуда не тороплюсь. Но тороплюсь. Но не специально. Но специально. Но нет. Надо. Да. Нет. Вот. Значит будет дольше. Чё, где эта чуйха? Ох ты тварь. Ах ты тварь.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
What prevails in the end, I wonder? The desire for blood, or to be of service to man?
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
The case is closed, your ladyship. The person who took advantage of you has, shall we say, seen the error of her ways.
So who was it?
My lady, the blackmailer was dealt with using the utmost discretion. The culprit's identity is of no relevance.
Thank you, Jonathan. That is exactly what I needed from you. You have proven your loyalty, so, as a friend, please accept this small token of my appreciation.
Thank you, my lady.
If you have an inclination to learn more about vampires or your current situation, I will be glad to aid you in your quest for knowledge.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
Excuse my forwardness, but are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a crude word, defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires, but all vampires are not Ekon. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London vampire society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Very well, but I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter skull.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then?
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, skulls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
Skull.
What type of vampire is a skull?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad.
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
I bid you farewell. For now, my lady.
Кстати, я
I
одного
must
не понял.
quickly
Я ж
analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
одного не понял, короче. Только я же щит вкачал. Так, а он ни разу не сработал вроде. Так нахер он мне нужен?
Sometimes you act like a real jerk, you know that?
Oh, come on, Ozzy, don't be like that.
What, like what? Like someone who felt betrayed by the man he loves? Did you ever even try to find me? Rescue me?
You know it's not like that.
wanted to. I was so afraid to leave the hospital, not to be seen with you.
We survived this shit together. That's all that matters. I know you did your best.
Фу, гадость. Боже.
Fuck the war, right? And fuck them all.
Я думаю, они лишние в этой больнице. А ну-ка, открываем дверь. А почему? Почему я пройти не могу? Чё?
I cannot enter. Good evening, sir.
Dr. Reed. So it's you who saved my...
And you are?
Newton Blight. Oswald and I recently returned from the...
Не, я думаю, они лишние.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Did you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
По-моему, он типа не тот оруженосец.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
How do you feel about Oswald Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well, you know, never thought I'd love a man.
Два педика. Ну да, заднеприводный.
Maybe a time will come when you'll not have to hide who you are. But for
Да как
now,
ты это поделал?
I know,
Даже
Dr.
скипнуть
Reed.
не хочу.
Oswald wouldn't survive behind bars.
what caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Goodbye, Mr.
Педика.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you...
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss.
Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital, but I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctor said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Tell me about your true feelings for Newton.
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. I can't imagine life without him.
I admire your honesty. It takes courage to stand up to society. The world needs people like you to create change.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, my only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again. I love him, that's all.
Why should you be ashamed?
I'm not, I said. But Newton sees it differently.
Nah.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested in my case.
Perhaps you were trapped or locked in somewhere as a child. The horror of war could have brought this memory back to the surface.
Are you joking? I grew up on a farm, had a bloody fantastic childhood.
Да пошел ты. 3.
Newton is conflicted about his feelings towards you. Would you like to talk about it, Oswald?
It makes me sad and angry. It feels like the beautiful thing we have is somehow tainted. It hurts to see him so lost.
His love for you is genuine. I'm certain
Newton still has to accept it, knowing he'll be seen as a queer, a fairy.
Do you want to talk?
No,
an irrational...
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if...
Perhaps you were trapped.
Are you joking?
Сука.
Goodbye.
Ты жалко, что вы долго, сука, не проживете. Вам осталось только дождаться, когда я будет. А, не, этот придурок и сейчас умрет. Ну-ка, иди сюда.
Good evening.
Evening.
Хе-хе. Повезло тебе. Повезло. Не, вот эти в больнице мне не нужны. Не-не-не. Этих двух не жалко вообще. Это же пить его кровь. Мерзко.
Newton, don't be sorry. We'll meet again soon, and we will be serene.
Ключ. Что за ключ?
And beautiful.
О, вот это. Ваше убежище. О, у тебя там друг лежит. Отдыхает. Ну и мерзость. Что я играю? Боже. Я думал, тут такого не будет. Ну ладно. Допустим, этого персонажа уже не было. Давно. Так, ладно, сюда мы еще что-то крафтим. Чекнем, что тут еще. Вот такое. А и все. Скажите, больше ничего не могу. Теперь. Простуды, бронхита. Лопнуть. Вот. Ну и ладно.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
Ок. О, глава 3. Короче, прокачаться. Трон это мне не надо. Вот укус. Не укус, вот это хочу. Что-то жесткое. 600 урона. Тысяча. И это 1000. Ну давай 2000 сольем на это и на это. Посмотрим, что вот это из себя представляет, и что вот это из себя представляет. Еще знаешь, еще 600, кстати, остается на вот это. Тоже интересно. Немножко не понимаю, как это делается. Ой. Сам барьер. Ну ладно. Следующая ночка. Пожалуй, все на сегодня. Думаю, да. Пропавший. Крякнули. Ну, он лишний. Лишний. Ну, тут такие не нужны. Вот этого еще остается хлопнуть. Пропавший. Тут еще, кстати, 2 героя было, 3. Внимание. Еще пневмония. Бронхита. Вот тут пневмония есть. От бронхита. Ну ладно. На сегодня... час 50 минут. Да, это жестко. Ну ладно, на сегодня заканчиваем. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Не знаю, будет следующая серия. Я еще хочу переделать на канал аватарку. И еще раз думал, какую сделать шапку. также и вступление, и конец. Ну а на сегодня все. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Всем удачи. Всем пока.